Welcome back to the Motivating Force podcast. I'm Josue. This is Justin. And as always on this wonderful Wednesday, we're keeping that motivation, getting you through this week. And going off of this week, which we were talking about the SMART acronym for the actionable plan to achieve your goals, we're going to continue on doubling down on the law of attraction that we spoke on before and seeing how this was a really good topic that everybody appreciated and they seem to enjoy. We're going to double down on it. Law of attraction, it's a big thing that it's a vast field of research, right? People always want to discredit it. People always want to give it more credit than it deserves. But when we look at it in different views and different lenses, if you want to say, it's very easy to understand, right? In layman's terms, the way that this universe is designed, whether you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God, or if you wear tinfoil hats like myself, and we believe that this is all an AI simulation, right? We are always able to attain the goals that we set for ourselves, right? The only thing that hinders that achievement process is ourself or the goals or the distractions that we let ourselves get consumed by, right? So when we have goals that we want to attain, we just can't have too many distractions in our field of view, right? We have to really focus in on one thing. And with the law of attraction, it states that we will get it if we keep putting that want, that desire out for it. If we keep putting our energy and time into that set goal, into that set path, we will obtain our goals.
I mean, thinking about it more from last week to now, what really started resonating with me was I was listening to a interview with Mark Cuban.
Okay.
And he was talking about, like, you don't have to be right every time. You only have to be right once. If you're right once in the critical moment, it's going to set you up for success for the rest of your life.
Right.
And I was kind of thinking about how that works with the law of attraction. And it's like, because it's true, people are like, well, you pull all this stuff towards you, but what do you do with it? And it's, or like, I don't see it because they don't act on any of it. And it's like, no. When it pulls all this stuff towards you and you act on every single one of those things, maybe it was like, the 10 positive things that came your way and none of them worked. Wait till next month comes around. Because when those 10 more things come back at you, you only need one or two of them to really hit.
Right. And a point that I had for this was that you really just can't have distractions, right? That's today's theme, if you want to call it that. You can't have these unnecessary distractions weighing you down when you're trying to achieve your goals. Focusing in on one thing seems simple, right? But in today's day and age, when we have different aspects of social media or engagements with we can't have that personal interaction anymore because now everything's through the computer. There's the distractions of, let me do something else on the computer when I'm in this meeting, right? If it's like a business thing. But then there's other distractions that can be like outside stress or trying to maintain your stable job that you have right now, and you can't put that off because you want to achieve this goal or you want to start up this business, right? But you have those factors weighing you down, like, I can't do this because whatever, family, friends, right? You're coming up with an excuse to stop yourself from achieving those goals.
Yeah, I feel that though, because especially when you talk about the entrepreneur side of that, because it's true and it's something where not everybody can really honestly be an entrepreneur because they can't even fathom the idea of not getting paid for, let alone 1 month, but sometimes we're talking upwards of a year on a business startup. And people are like, well, I can't go a year without making money. But it's because you kind of fell for everything else along the way. But again, back to like that law of attraction, you see those opportunities come and it's like, well, listen, this is going to make you successful. This is going to turn you into a millionaire, but this is the sacrifice you're going to have to pay up front.
Yeah.
And people are like, that's not even an option.
Yeah. And when it comes to that, like, it's really analyzing how important that goal is to you for you to even like push yourself to achieve it in the first place. Like, if it really isn't a goal that you think you're actually going to get, Focus on something else that you think is achievable. Like going back to your SMART acronym that we used on Monday's episode, when it comes to being a realistic goal, right? Let's say you want to be the number one skateboarder, right? You skateboard all the time and it's measurable. You know, you can be the number one skateboarder, right? You can win competitions, you can do all this stuff.
Somebody out there is, so yeah.
Yeah, so let's just use that for an example. But when it comes to being realistic and the distractions that go into play with that, you can't be number one if you're also dedicating a large portion of your time to, let's say, running marathons or watching TV like hours at a time. You're wasting that time that you could be focusing in on this one goal that is achievable, that is realistic, but you're just not acting on it appropriately.
Yeah, you're taking all the immediate gratifications over that delayed gratification, which you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like with correlating both things, like the SMART acronym and the law of attraction, the more time and energy that you put towards it, the more that you try to bring in, you know, that success that comes with being the number one skateboarder, for instance, or achieving or starting up a business, whether it be that food truck that we were talking about in the last episode. You're attracting that success, right? You're putting more experience on yourself in that field when you're dedicating more and more time on it. But when you start to falter, you start to watch TV, you're slacking off, right? You're doing other things. You're running marathons that have nothing to do with the current goal that you're doing. You're setting yourself up for failure. And that's something that I really need people to understand, because they think they can kind of be a jack of all trades when they're trying to achieve one specific goal. When they do write out that list, that stepping stones of what they need to do, of the milestones that they have for themselves. Like, this is the end goal. This is all the little things I have to do to get there. But then it almost seems like they have two plans of actions, right? They have the one to be the skateboarder, then the one to start a business in like food trucks. They have nothing to do with each other. So why are you trying to split up your time for it?
Yeah, like with the point on the SMART acronym there with the relevance. They're not relevant to each other at all. You're putting your energy in two totally different paths. And even if you're, you know, using the law of attraction here and you're full force on that and you're attracting all these positive things in both directions, all you're really getting is mixed signals.
Yeah. And another key point when it comes to this and achieving goals and that goal achievement process, right, is that you just can't lose focus. Like you were talking about earlier, like if you keep getting put down by people telling you, oh, you can't achieve this, it's not realistic, you can't lose 1,000, or obviously you can't lose 1,000 pounds, but you can't lose 100 pounds in 2 months or whatever it is, and you start to just like give up on yourself. Who's to say you weren't going to get that goal and it was just like an inch away, like you were so close to it, but you just gave up because you let all these other distractions, other negative influences affect your goal achievement process.
Yeah, I think that's got to be one of the most frustrating parts when it comes to like helping out people in life coaching and whatnot, is watching people get on the path and create plans for themselves and start working towards success, and then hit that one little spot where they burn out for just a couple days. And instead of giving themselves that break, they're like, screw it. You know, I don't want to do any of it because it's so much work. I'm honestly just going to make the mental choice right now. I'm just going to be lazy. I'm just going to enjoy my life. I'm done with this. And it's like, but you were right
so
there,
close.
man. You almost had everything you could have possibly wanted.
Yeah.
And people just, they get that just enough resistance to break them. And then that's it. They're broken.
So then how do you think we can get people to realize, like, you're hindering yourself? Like, this is a life altering change you can do. Like the example you said with like Mark Cuban, you know, he has so much money. He has so many like successful businesses. He owns sports teams. Like, yeah. What's going on? You think he just gives up because, you know, too many people told him he couldn't do it? Like, how can we get people to these things, when it comes to like the law of attraction, the law of attraction doesn't care about what other people are telling you. If you're giving the law of attraction enough energy and that desire of all your focus and your commitment to achieving this goal, right? Like, you're bound to get it if you just stop letting all these distractions affect you.
Yeah, because I mean, I can tell you what, like, Mark Cuban, I guarantee you he's been told no more times than you have. And I guarantee you he's lost more money than you have. Like, it's unproportionate, but that's that differentiating factor is he wanted that thing. He's going to drive for it till he gets it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And for people like us where, you know, we don't have necessarily that mindset or that mentality, and it's, you hit enough opposition and you're just like, you know what, they're right. It's done. Or, well, this thing was only supposed to take 2 months and I'm on my 3rd month now. I'm done. You were 1 month away.
Yeah.
You were 5 people away from a yes. You never know what it could have been. And that's that law of attraction is and like kind of like your little like hypothetical question there, which I kind of do want to answer. And it's like, how do you get people away from like that breaking point? And it really is with using the law of attraction, because it's getting people to understand like it's right there around the corner, because like that should be the motto for the law of attraction. Yeah. Everything you want is right there around that corner, and that's how you achieve it. And you might hit that breaking point where you've gotten enough no's, but that yes is still right there waiting for you.
And another thing that I think goes like almost hand in hand with like letting people tell you that you can't do something, it almost comes from them thinking that they know your past, right? So as we've used many of people before about their past and how they've overcome a bunch of things and how now they're very successful, they're well-known people, or even like well documented in history, right? That we've used them as examples of overcoming their past. So why are you going to let your past define the goals that you set for yourself, right? If you live in low income area, right, but you say that you want to be the next Donald Trump and you know, have your own towers named after you, that's attainable if you want it enough. But also, don't compare yourself to others, because that in a sense is a distraction, right? And we're talking about getting rid of all these other distractions so then you can focus in on what you want to attain and letting the law of attraction work its course.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was our biggest thing, our biggest drive home when we talked about, you know, people like Charlemagne, when we talked about him here on the show. And it's that when people say like, oh, you know, if you want to be the next Donald Trump in terms of success and money and wealth and whatnot, and everybody's like, oh, well, he got a loan. He got this, he got that. I can't get any of that. Okay, well then let's talk about somebody more realistic. Let's talk about Charlemagne, you know? Look at everything he has. Look at everything he has going for him. You know, his outreach, his success, his wealth, his passion towards things. And it's like, do you have a felony?
Yeah.
Do you have a criminal record? Were you in a gang? Where are you at? What is your excuse, really?
Finding what really drives you, finding that passion that you really have for something. Because you can say, yeah, I really enjoy doing this or whatever. But if it's not your passion, like I like playing video games, right? But it's not really a passion. I'm not going to dedicate my life to playing video games because I know for a fact I'm not going to go anywhere with it. But when you find something that is a passion, it does have a positive influence in your community, like we talked about before. Things like that will give you that reason to keep pushing forward. And the whole point of losing distractions, like this whole conversation initially came up when I was just listening to a podcast with a Joe Rogan podcast. And they were talking about how desires are a distraction, right? Desires in general, that people have, like it's okay to have 1,000 desires, right? But what's important is that you focus on one of them at a time. Because when you let all these other desires and wants affect your goal, it's going to start clouding up that focus, that field of view. And then it's going to start mixing up what you're really going to be spending your time on. And it's like, that's when it clicked, like, this correlates perfectly with the law of attraction. Because if you're just saying, oh, I want this, I want this, I want that, you're not going to get any of them. you really have to narrow in that focus on the specific thing. Like I was talking about at the beginning, like the AI simulation, the algorithm, if you will, that's how it's worked. Like that's how they designed it. That's how God designed it. That's how whoever you want to believe in, whatever you want to believe in. If you want something enough and you put all your energy, focus, and effort into getting that, you will get it. If it also follows the SMART acronym.
Yeah, and just to quickly refresh on that with the SMART acronym, talking about a specific goal, a goal that's measurable. You got to make sure the goal is attainable. Got to make sure it's relevant, and then you got to set a time frame on everything. Because a lot of those areas there just allow for it. Well, really, I mean, when you follow that, it allows for the removal of distractions and excuses. And I think that's a big thing when it does come to the law of attraction, is that you might already be attracting all the things you need in your life to accomplish your goals, but you're not doing it because it's not your passion, or if it's not specific enough, that all those things are right there in front of you and you're not utilizing any of it.
Yeah.
Because just because it's there, it doesn't mean somebody's going to come up to you and hand you $1 million on a silver platter. There might be somebody out there that will hand you $1 million to achieve your dreams, but you're going to have to prove yourself for that. And the only way you're going to prove yourself is by showing them how passionate you are about that thing.
Yeah. Like there are, I don't want to get too specific with this, but there are countless examples of like things do fall into place the time that they should, right? Like for us outside the podcast, I don't want to get too specific, but there are things that are being placed in front of us that fall in and are correlating with our goals.
Yeah.
Right? They all make sense and it's there. But it's up to us to realize it and go, oh, this has been what we've been trying to attract for a while. And it's like, if we didn't realize that, it would just keep going. Life will keep going, the world will keep turning. But it's up to the individual to go and reanalyze everything in their life. Like maybe I missed something a month ago, or maybe I was given a job opportunity that at the time I thought was wrong for me, but that's actually where I should have gone. And at that point is when you have to make that change and shift that focus on where you're going to be putting that effort and that time, because everything is put into place when it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. And I think a lot of it too is when everything comes into place like that, that's why you guys kind of need that preemptive knowledge on what we're talking about here. Because it's like for us, when those certain opportunities arose in our personal lives, we were just like, we sat there and went through the mental checklist, and it literally checkmarked every single box. And we knew within a matter of hours, like, okay, this is something we need to act upon.
Yeah.
But for people that don't understand, like the smart goal setting, actionable planning, the law of attraction, they don't truly understand these things. When those opportunities come knocking, they're just like, oh, that's really nice. That'd be cool. I should look into that. And then you sit around and scroll through Facebook for 2 weeks and you're like, oh yeah, let me get back to that thing. But then it's already moved on. It's to the next person that wants it. And then that next person that attracted that, if they're more knowledgeable and they're ready and they're passionate and they act on it, that opportunity is theirs now. You lost your window. Yeah. You got to wait for the next train.
Yeah. Also knowing like the connections you have, the ties you have with people, that's also pretty important too. You can't have the law of attraction work for you if you're a shut-in, if you kind of push everybody away. You need to be able to talk to people. I don't think you can really get anywhere without communication, whether it's relationship, whether it's in just personal life, if you're talking to people in general.
Yeah, but that's where we talk about like that attainability when it comes to SMART goal setting, because that's exactly why, because you need to make sure it is attainable. If what you're trying to accomplish in life is opening up a business, but you lack certain things that's just unable for you to get, like you're like, I can never just have $1 million fall into my lap. Okay, well, it sounds like you need to find somebody who has $1 million
yeah.
that they're willing to just shove away somewhere, and entrust into somebody. That's the type of attraction that you need to be seeking, because those are the resources you lack.
Yeah. And you can't just always be shutting things down. That's the whole point of law of attraction. You can't be negative about the goal that you want. You have to constantly reinforce the goal within yourself. you want it for a reason. There's a reason you thought about it. So you have to keep reminding yourself of that, which I don't think we put into any of the discussions when it came to planning, is that you always have to remind yourself.
Yeah.
Because we have it where other people are your accountability partners and they're the ones reminding you. But some of that also comes down to you. Like, yeah, it's good that you remind me that I need to achieve certain goals, but I also have to talk to myself on why I really want to achieve it. Like, is it really the passion, or was it the money when I was thinking about, like, when I was going through financial issues, right? And my only priority was getting money, right? So I had to focus on a goal with money, right? And now, let's say we're past that financial struggle. Money really isn't a focus for me or a drive. Am I going to keep trying to obtain certain goals that were like they were monetary? Or will I be focusing now on something that is really just a passion? You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I think that a good portion of that for some people is that they like to get stuck in the past. So they might see themselves where they had financial struggles and then opportunities arise and they're like, okay, you got to do this, and that to become successful. But look, you're going to cut out a good portion of your income for some time. And people are like, they remember that past. They remember that financial struggle and they remember how hard it was to get through it. And they're like, oh no, I can't do that. But again, then they're forgetting about those smart decisions they made where they now have that nest egg. They now have investments. They have other forms of income or other, money stored away somewhere, even under the mattress, right? Where they've allowed themselves to be able to accept these opportunities that come forward to them. Because a lot of planning for, what you're trying to attract, and especially with like bigger goals, it comes with a lot of preparation before you can even launch yourself towards those goals.
Yeah, and another thing that comes into play when trying to get these goals, that at first it seems like it's like life or death, right? Is that some of these goals require a lot of risk, right? But then that's when you have to be smart about it and understand the steps and be knowledgeable about what it is that you're trying to get into, whether it's a business, whether it's health or whatever, like a sporting event. That risk is a distraction, because then you're going to keep weighing yourself down with the excuse of, oh, but this might happen, or but something could get in the way, or I may lose everything. You're never going to take the chance of acting upon what that law of attraction gave you in the first place, that opportunity that was handed to you. Okay, so wrapping everything up, when it comes down to the law of attraction, right? Bringing in all those positives into your life, knowing when the correct risks or the correct steps or knowing when the correct opportunities are being lined up in front of you, and just realizing when you have to open your eyes to them and realizing that that's where you need to be, is that you just first need to analyze how important each and every goal is that you have for yourself. Realize which one is the milestone, which one is the actual end goal, and give that one 100% of your effort, 100% of your time and dedication to it. Because if you keep throwing out all these wants and desires like I was talking about before, you're not going to grab any of them. You really just have to focus in on one. Don't let these distractions weigh you down. Don't let the stress weigh you down. Don't let other people weigh you down from the goal that's just right around the corner. You can obtain any of these goals if you follow that SMART acronym that we talked about on Monday. You can achieve any of these goals if you really just put effort into it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you really got to know what you're about, what you want to accomplish, what you're trying to achieve. And you do have to really like laser focus in on these goals, because these opportunities, when they do present themselves, they're going to come just as fast as they go. And you need to be there to jump on it. I mean, as soon as you see that opportunity walking up, you're going to meet it halfway. You want to get there before it even gets to you when you see that opportunity coming. And the best way to do that is just have all those things lined up, prepared, ready to fire away, know what risk you're willing to accept, know what you're not, and just being able to go off that mental checklist. And as long as, the majority of those boxes are green lighted, you're good to go. And like for ourselves here at the Motivating Force, one of our main goals is just to get our voices out there and get it heard, get our opinions heard, get people motivated, get people fired up. And the best way to do that is by having all the lovely listeners here share the video with your friends and family. We really do appreciate it. We love seeing the channel grow. It just means we get to help out more people. And you never know who needs to hear a kind word.
Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're always replying to you guys. It's always a great conversation to have with you. So feel free to do that. You can also reach out to us on our social media platforms. We have Facebook and Parler at The Motivating Force. We have Instagram at Podcast TMF.
Yeah, you can find all those social medias in the description down below. All of our videos do come out Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. EST. We do also try dropping some bonus content on Sunday for you guys at indiscriminate hours of the day. And, definitely check out the Instagram. We definitely got it popping over there. We get a lot of extra content going up out there. So if you want to see more of us and things you don't see on YouTube, definitely check out the Insta.
And until next time, guys, go and get.